What up, people? It's your boy. I'm back with another video. Breaking news. This just came down the news wire. And ESPN is reporting this, and it's official, folks. Darvin Ham has been selected to being the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, just to do a quick backstory, a quick rundown on Darvin Ham. He was brought up in the San Antonio Spurs tree, where Pops is. Mike Busenholzer. I think I butchered his name, but you guys know I butchered people's names on a consistent basis. Who's the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, selected him as his assistant coach. He has also spent time as being an assistant coach for the Miami Heat. Also, he worked for the Los Angeles Lakers. Also, he has been an NBA player back in the day with the Milwaukee Bucks. And it's amazing how you have these snippets in your head. Oh my God. Anyway, he played with him with oh my God, I'm about to say Ray Lewis. Anyway, his name will come to me. He played with the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think that's the history of Darvin Ham. Now, Darvin Ham as a selection. If you look at the three remaining finalists, and you also look at Juwan Howard declined the offer of being the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. If you also look at not only Juwan Howard declining, but the Lakers were couldn't get Doc Rivers. A lot of people suspected this was going to be Doc Rivers' final year as head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. But the Philadelphia 76ers organization is going to give him one more year to work this thing out, which technically is kind of fair. I do feel like next year will be his final year if he cannot get the Philadelphia 76ers at least into the finals. If he doesn't get them into the finals, he can kiss that job goodbye. But anywho, if you look at those two options, and there was really no big splashy name brand head coach that was out of a job and onto the market, all of those flashy names, those big name coaches, they are all on successful ball clubs and on and the organization is spot on. So those coaches are locked up. Those franchises, those organizations are unwilling to let those names go. So when you only got a small selection, a small window of getting Juwan Howard from the Michigan Wolverines, or getting Doc Rivers, possibly either he gets fired from the Philadelphia 76ers, or you work out some type of trade proposal or trade package, which the Lakers really don't have a lot of pieces that the Philadelphia 76ers would want or even consider. And you look at the last three finalists, I felt like Darvin Ham is a more solid choice. Now, if you look at Atkins, he was a head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks, but he did it with lesser names. He did have Kyrie Irving when Kyrie Irving went to the Brooklyn Nets, and that didn't turn out very well. Kyrie Irving didn't give him the approval, and then they fired him. And ever since then, he's been trying to shop around to get another head coaching opportunity. And if you look at the assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors, I can't think of his name right now. When you look at those three options, including Darvin Ham, I feel like the Los Angeles Lakers made a solid choice. Which, by the way, a lot of people were complaining about the Los Angeles Lakers because Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka was getting input from their internal circle, Phil Jackson and that crew, and also allowing LeBron James input. And a lot of people felt like that was just too many cooks in the kitchen. And sometimes you can come to an agreement if you get opinions from different viewpoints. Hell, even Irvin Magic Johnson was giving Jeanie Buss some input on who they should hire as their next head coach. On social media, LeBron James tweeted his endorsement of Darvin Ham, which I fully expect he would. But privately, LeBron James, if you look at LeBron James' history, he has always felt safe with a veteran head coach that has been there and done that. And this is uncharted waters for LeBron James. He's going to start next season with an assistant coach, which will be his first time becoming a head coach. Now, he tried it way back then with when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Blair coach, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, who's more famous for European basketball. When he got selected to be the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know, LeBron James as well as him has butted heads, and they really didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. But they was very successful. But LeBron James didn't put his blessing into that coach. I feel like this is uncharted waters for LeBron James. Even though he's given out his blessing, still the fact remains LeBron has not signed an extension with the Los Angeles Lakers. And when he's done playing next season, that'll be his last year under contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. And he has not indicated he's going to re-sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. So it really didn't matter who the Lakers would have selected. LeBron James is not going to endorse it by signing an extension. So we got all that, the small talk out of the way. The one thing I want to focus on is what this hire means for the future of the Los Angeles Lakers. What this fully means for Jeanie Buss, Rob Pelinka. What does this mean for LeBron James? We just talked briefly about what it means for LeBron James. And I have been saying on numerous videos, on constant live streams, that if you look at the final three finalists, which, by the way, let's get back into the finalists for 1 second before we get into what I think this means for the Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of people on social media, a lot of content providers on YouTube, a lot of analysts were saying, "Oh, well, I have a source of a source of a source that heard from a source that is going to be Darvin Ham." But I couldn't really say anything, folks, because I had to keep it on the low, and everybody is in their bag and saying that they knew all along and this, that, and the third. I mean, folks, it wasn't that hard to figure out. If you look at the final three finalists, Atkins, who was a head coach for the Brooklyn Nets, He's shown that he can coach teams that don't have superstar talent. But can he coach a team that has superstar talent? And when he had his moment under the sun with Kyrie Irving, he crashed and burned. So you can obviously eliminate him as one of the finalists for getting the head coaching gig for the Los Angeles Lakers. Folks, if you look at, I forgot, I think his name is Scott, Skiles, whoever his name is. I do apologize. Guys know I butcher names. I know their faces, I just don't know their names. If you look at him, I mean, he's unproven. This will be his first opportunity as a head coach. He's young. He's ambitious. But there's nothing about him that says, oh, the Lakers are going to select him. And that's same to be said about Darvin Ham. So if you look at those three candidates, everybody was alluding that unless Juwan Howard says he wants it, unless they can figure out some way to get Doc Rivers away from the Philadelphia 76ers, it was just these three finalists. And of these three finalists, why you wouldn't go with the finalists that won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks last season? How far of a reach could that be? Not too much of a reach. So for all the people out there that's champagning and campaigning and saying, oh man, I knew all along that Darvin Ham was going to get the offer, that he was going to get the job. It wasn't a slam dunk, folks. Like I said, if Juwan Howard would have said, you know what, I want that job, he would have gotten that job. Then what people would say then? Then people would say, well, obviously they was going to give it to Juwan Howard. I mean, look at the final three candidates. None of them has been at this level. Even though Juwan Howard hasn't been on this level, he has been a head coach, but on the collegiate level, not on the professional level. So obviously he's going to get it over those guys. Or if somehow, some way they could swindle and con the Philadelphia 76ers on a retread coach whose only big-time success he has ever had is when he was the coach of the Boston Celtics. But when he had that big three with the Boston Celtics, Kevin Durant, Ray Allen was the name I was trying to remember earlier in the live stream. Darvin Ham used to play with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce. Well, he never played with Paul Pierce, but Darvin Ham used to play with Ray Allen back in the glory days, back in the good days with the Milwaukee Bucks. So many connections and so many conclusions that could tell you without a shadow of a doubt he was going to get the job. So let's just cool and calm down I knew they was going to give it to him. Okay? Can we do that? All right. So let's get into what this actually means for the Los Angeles Lakers' future, LeBron James' future, even though we talked about it momentarily, and what this hire officially means for Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka. And like I said, I've been on the record on social media. I make numerous videos, been on live streams, been on other people's live streams, and the campaign I'm pushing, this means that the Los Angeles Lakers has officially hit the reset button. Officially hit the reset button. The Los Angeles Lakers basically told the world, we're going to hit the reset button now. Because why did I come to that conclusion? And it's simple. If you look at the Los Angeles Lakers situation moving forward, they got LeBron James for 1 year. And there's no promise that they're going to get him for any additional years. And if you've been reading the tea leaves from LeBron James himself, he has already illustrated that, his one big bucket list before he retires from the NBA is he at least wants to play alongside his son. He also wants to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform. And the days of him chasing the ghosts of Chicago has officially been over. He's done trying to beat the great one, the greatest of all time. He has officially retired from trying to compete against Michael Jordan as far as who is better, LeBron or Michael Jordan. The majority of fans have basically said it's Michael Jordan. LeBron has a phenomenal career in the NBA, has won multiple championships, has won multiple finals MVPs, has won multiple season MVPs. He's good. He's good like good money. He's good in the hood. LeBron doesn't, he's moving on. His resume speaks for himself. Speaks for itself. Nothing he can do moving forward is going to put him past LeBron James if he plays the next 3 years. So you got that perspective. The Lakers know that they got LeBron for next year, but there's no promises for the years after that. And if you've been listening to what LeBron James has been saying, he's not, winning a championship is not high on his priority list. I'm sorry, folks. It just isn't. If you look at Anthony Davis, they got him locked down for multiple years. But what has Anthony Davis has been proven time and time again? The best ability is availability, and the Lakers organization knows that they're not going to have Anthony Davis for a full season. The Lakers know this. They're stuck like Chuck with Anthony Davis. And the future is very cloudy with Anthony Davis as far as him still being a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think they're going to do it now. I don't even think they're going to do it next year. Hell, they may not even do it 2 years down the road. But the offer still stands as far as Anthony Davis possibly being traded away from the Los Angeles Lakers, where they can salvage something. They can get something for him. If you've been listening to what the Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka and the Los Angeles Lakers organization has been saying, is they're not going to trade away picks just to be trading them away. They know that they're stuck like Chuck with Russell Westbrook. Nobody wants Russell Westbrook. Nobody wants Russell Westbrook's contract, even if it's got 1 year remaining. And it's sad when, normally teams would take a player with 1 year remaining, and when that player is done, that frees up a lot of money for that team for next season. But why would a team want Russell Westbrook's contract to have all that money for next season? And if you look at the landscape, it's not like the next big superstar is going to be available for you. Kevin Durant is not going to be available for you next summer. Ja Morant is not going to be available for you next summer. Luka Doncic is not going to be available for you next summer. I'm just spewing a lot of names, okay? Those players are locking in. They're locking in to the franchises that drafted them. The Greek Freak is not going to be available for you 2 summers down the road. So, or next summer. So why would you entertain a proposal of just straight up trading for Russell Westbrook so you can have cap relief so you'll be able to sign somebody next summer, a big time superstar next summer? Why would you do that? Hell, you can get LeBron James for the cheap. LeBron James has already indicated that the next team he goes to, he's not going to command top dollar. He just want to play for a team that has the ability and the capability of maybe drafting his son, Bronny James. Obviously, it's going to be a team that's going to have a lot of ping pong balls, obviously. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, of my speculations. So if you look at the Los Angeles Lakers and their options, the only option that they have moving forward, they can't make this team a championship team overnight. You're stuck with Russell Westbrook. LeBron's got one more year and he's done. And you just signed a guy that's not going to be available for the whole entire season and has a low motor. He has a low engine. Now, a lot of people say, well, look what Darvin Ham did with the Greek Freak. But the Greek Freak was never accused of having a low motor or not being available to at least play the majority of the season. He has never been put in a position like that. Darvin Ham is going to inherit an Anthony Davis who has been well publicized and well documented. He cannot complete seasons. He's always injured. He has a low motor. He doesn't work fitness-wise on his body in the offseason. And it's not going to change anytime soon. I feel like Anthony Davis is very comfortable with the fact that he won a title with the Los Angeles Lakers, even though it was a shortened season, had a break in between season, and they played the playoffs as well as the finals in a bubble. And Anthony Davis is good. He's good like good money. He won his championship. He's cool with it. I said to you guys in multiple live streams and videos, Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss, they're in rebuilding mode. More so Jeanie Buss. I feel like this is it for Rob Pelinka. If he does not show, if he can't improve this team from last season, this is it for Rob Pelinka. But Rob Pelinka is going to play the same game like LeBron James is playing. Hey, we may not be contenders. We may not win a championship or a title. But, hey, I got the Kareem record. That should tell you guys we had a very successful season. I got the scoring title. And I feel like Rob Pelinka is going to have moments like this. Rob Pelinka is going to go into the lab, go into the room, and he's going to finesse a lot of trades, a lot of small trades in the offseason, and select the right players in the NBA draft. And people are going to say, well, look what he drafted. Look what he signed with the little money that they got. Look what he signed. At least he made them somewhat competitive. At least they're a little bit better than last year. I feel like LeBron and Rob Pelinka is in the same situation. They're playing the same game. And that's ultimately going to help Rob Pelinka keep his job. But if you look at it from Jeanie Buss' perspective, she's pushing the reset button. She's pushing the panic button. Do you want to push the button 2 years or a year early, or do you want to push this button 2 years or a year too late? And I feel like they're starting all over. If you look at the surroundings in the Western Conference, what teams that can the Lakers beat next season? They can't beat Golden State. Even with the Phoenix Suns and what they went through in the playoffs, they still can't beat the Phoenix Suns. The Dallas Mavericks are going to get a little bit better. If you look at the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets, they're going to select the right players in either the NBA draft or free agency or a combination of both. The Memphis Grizzlies are not going anywhere. They're going to be a little bit better. So if you just look at those teams alone, of those teams, and the Clippers is an unknown. The Clippers are an unknown. The Clippers were pretty successful without the services of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And they was pretty decent. So which of those teams the Lakers are going to beat or going to atop in the standings as far as playoffs? And you still got the New Orleans Pelicans. They went into the playoffs with what they have. They're going to get a little bit better. What, the New Orleans Pelicans? With a healthy Zion Williams, adding a piece here and a piece there, keeping what they already have. They just went to the playoffs. You think the Lakers can beat the New Orleans Pelicans with the roster that they have? The New Orleans Pelicans have a better roster, better cap flexibility, and they got better options to make that team extremely better. The New Orleans Pelicans traded for C.J. McCollum, and they got him. What have the Lakers done in your mind as of right now that tells you, oh, they're going to win it all or be in or at least be in the playoffs? I think Jeanie Buss sees the landscape. She says, and she's looking at it like, look, we're not better than a handful of teams in the West. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that we're going to have to be extremely better than them. Plus, we're not in the same situations as a lot of these teams. Our cap, we don't have a lot of cap flexibility. We don't have a lot of draft picks. We don't have players that other teams may want. We don't have a lot of them. We have a few, but we don't have a lot of them. So Jeanie Buss came to the conclusion, and I've told you guys that the Lakers as an organization is going to come to this conclusion, folks. Ask yourself, would you go ahead and hit the reset button early or later. And I feel like with this hire of Darvin Ham, it's screaming the Lakers are rebuilding. They got a young coach. I believe he's 48. He signed a 4-year contract. They're also allowing him to pick his staff. Okay. I think the Lakers are playing the long game. They're saying, look, we may not be good moving forward now and next season, and we may not be good next season, but we have our coach in place that's going to reshape this roster. And every season we're going to get a little bit better. They got Russell Westbrook. He's not going anywhere next year unless they're going to add a draft pick on top of it. And the Lakers are unwilling to sell off to add a draft pick to entice teams to pick up Russell Westbrook's contract. Irvin Magic Johnson said on ESPN that he feels like the Lakers should keep Russell Westbrook. And I feel like the reason why Irvin Magic Johnson is saying that, okay, is the simple fact that he knows what's going on in that front office. And it seems like that front office has explored all types of options to get rid of Russell Westbrook. And teams are not biting. And a multitude of teams have told the Lakers, look, if you want to get rid of Russell Westbrook that bad, then y'all going to have to give up a draft pick. And they're saying, no, we're not doing that. We'll just keep Russell Westbrook. If something better comes along, like in the trade deadline, we'll trade him. But if nothing happens, we'll keep him. And look at that salary that we're going to dump. And and look at that salary we're going to have as far as signing free agents when Russell Westbrook has finished his contract. There's still the option of, there's a possibility, depending on what Darvin Ham said in his interview process about Russell Westbrook, on how he sees Russell Westbrook, how he's going to utilize Russell Westbrook. You know, there is a possibility of maybe Russell Westbrook will want to buy out, and maybe Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka would go in the process stage of buying him out. But it's highly unlikely. You got one more year remaining with him. You could just officially just keep him on your roster. Let it play out. Let it play out to at least the trade deadline. Maybe there's a team that's interested in Russell Westbrook. But if it's not, you just keep him for the remaining season and look at, when he's finished with his contract, look at all that cap space you're going to have. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, and you can instantly replenish that roster next year, which makes the rebuilding phase not extremely long, but extremely short. You got LeBron off the books. You got Russell Westbrook off the books. You just either build around Anthony Davis or just sign players, sign key free agent players, draft extremely well. With Anthony Davis, this team will probably be out. They was out of the playoffs this year. There's a possibility that they're going to be out of the playoffs next year. But 3 years down the road, they might be contenders going into the playoffs. So you just only had a 2-year drought. A lot of people are going to look at this and say, well, they didn't hit the reset button. They're just out of the playoffs for 2 years. If you look at what they have been doing and what they have been saying, everything alludes to they're rebuilding. They just pushed the button. Darvin Ham isn't the reason that they're rebuilding, isn't the start of their rebuild. Is what they what is a accumulated thing that they have been doing ever since last season. Darvin Ham just one of those reasons that you can allude to. Man, they're in a rebuilding mode. They are extremely rebuilding. So I just want to go on record and tell you guys, I give the Lakers if they draft and sign extremely well from the Lakers organization, I think they'll be back in the playoffs, not next year, but possibly the year after that. They'll be in a better situation than what they currently are not in today. And I feel like by that time, Darvin Ham will have 2 years under his belt as the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. And they're going to add pieces that's going to contribute to the success of Darvin Ham. I think they're going to be extremely, very successful in 2 years as far as making it back into the playoffs. And by that time, the Phoenix Suns will be a little bit older. You know, Chris Paul is not getting any younger. It'll be Devin's team, which is already his team, but it'll be officially his team. But the Grizzlies will still be in their prime. The Golden State Warriors will be a year older themselves. Draymond Green may not be on that roster 2 years down the road. Steph Curry wouldn't be the same Steph Curry that we're seeing right now. Klay Thompson has shown flashes of him being non-consistent. So the Lakers, them signing Darvin Ham has already crystallized what I've been saying since the start of next season about the Lakers. I think the Lakers are they still are in rebuilding mode. And if you look at what Jeanie Buss has been saying, if you've been looking at what Rob Pelinka has been saying, if you've been looking at paying attention to what LeBron James is saying, LeBron, what his mindset is and what the Lakers organization mindset is two different cadences. All right. LeBron is looking at the future as maybe one day playing alongside his son. The Lakers are looking at it as, let's do a quick rebuild, reshuffle the deck, and try to get back to the playoffs shorter than waiting 7 or 8 years down the road. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. When LeBron's with the Cleveland Cavaliers was mortgaging all their draft picks, all their young talent, and then what happened? LeBron left Cleveland the second time he went to Cleveland, and the Cleveland Cavaliers couldn't even sniff the playoffs. Look at them. They just now turned it around for that organization this year. They spent many years in the cellar, drafting picks and signing players to contribute to that team. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers now and look at the Cleveland Cavaliers 4 years ago. And Jeanie Buss is looking at, hey, we don't want to be like the Cleveland Cavaliers. We want to be prepared for the fact that LeBron is leaving us. All right. We gave him an offer. We gave him an extension. He doesn't want to sign the extension. He's already done said on social media that he wants to play, I say 2 to 3 more years, and he wants to play long enough for Bronny James, his son. He wants to play alongside Bronny James, his son. Even as bad as the Lakers are, they're not going to be that bad to where they get an opportunity to get Bronny James. I'm not saying Bronny James is going to be a high draft pick, but now when LeBron James says that he wants to play alongside his son, that makes the value of Bronny James go up. And now there's going to be teams that are trying to get butts in seats. They're going to select Bronny James way too high because LeBron has already spoken that he wants to play alongside his son. So if you got teams that are desperate and they have a hard time selling tickets, have a hard time selling season tickets, they're going to pick up Bronny James in the NBA draft just for that, for the attention and the possibility of landing LeBron James. And LeBron James wants to play alongside his son. You're going to have a lot of franchises in that mindset. We can get LeBron James, Bronny James. We can sell the hell out of season tickets in general. Our profits are going to go straight through the roof by just drafting Bronny James. So, yeah, that's all I got. I just want to make it official one more again. Jeanie Buss and the Lakers organization hit the reset button, hit the panic button a year early, and they're going to reset this thing. They know that they're not going to get LeBron James past this season. After this season, LeBron is going to go someplace else. Unless the Lakers are struggling so bad that they have enough draft picks where they can select Bronny James a little bit higher than what he's supposed to, not what he was not supposed to be, and the possibility, and then they know that LeBron is going to sign an extension. But the relationship between Jeanie Buss and LeBron James and Clutch Sports and the Lakers organization is not on the best terms. I feel like it's best for LeBron and Clutch Sports and Jeanie and the Lakers organization to part and separate. I think it'd be best for both of those entities. They had their fun. It's been real and it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun for either one of them. The best course of action is, this union cannot exist. Jeanie and the Los Angeles Lakers organization is going to go in a different direction than what LeBron and Clutch Sports is going to do or want to do. But again, I want to make it official one more again. I've been saying since the start of this season, I've made multiple videos. Done multiple live streams where I illustrated the Lakers are going to hit reset. They're hitting the reset button, the panic button early rather than late. They don't want to be in the same situation as the Cleveland Cavaliers the first time around and the second time around. Be left high and dry, and you have no future in front of you. And that's all I got. So, guys, I really do appreciate the people that came in and out in this live stream. I wanted to read some comments, but nobody left a comment. Now I did put in there, you have to be subscribed for 10 seconds. You have to watch 10 seconds of this video, and you'll be able to comment in the live comment slot. You do have to be subscribed for more than 10 seconds. But you can comment down below and tell me your opinions and this, that, and the third. I've been getting a lot of comments from people around the world. The only problem is I don't understand the language there, but we'll figure it out, and we'll talk about it. But like I said, if anybody wants to comment down below, just comment down below. I'll try to get back with you on this video. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. I hope everyone has a wonderful and productive weekend. I hope you have a lovely Saturday, a great Sunday, and a wonderful Memorial Day Monday. All right. If you got a 3-day weekend, man, I wish I was you. At least I had Saturday off. I have a short day on Sunday, but Monday it's going to be a long day, and I'm definitely not going to be doing any videos, particularly on this channel, on Monday. I may do a video or two on my other channel. I'm Chris Dom 1. So you guys, if you're subscribed here and if you like me, if you really F with me, subscribe to my other channel. I may upload a video on that channel or a short or whatever. I'm up out of here. I'll see you guys later. Deuces. Okay.